Hi everyone, I'm Celine and welcome to my channel. Today's reading is how you can create security or stability in your life. It's actually suggested by the cards themselves last night. So I want to keep today's reading open-ended because there are many different forms of security or stability, right? There's emotional security, material security, as well as the feeling of stability and the confidence that comes from knowing our own worth and our own capabilities. So, no matter which form of security you want to create in your life in this moment, I hope there will be messages for you in this reading. And let me introduce you to today's groups. It is group 1, 2, 3, 4 from left to right. You're just gonna imagine like you have a tarot reader in front of you and just pull a card from their hands, okay? It's 1, 2, 3, and 4 left to right. If you have chosen already, I will flip the cards over for you to see the front. Okay, number 1, we have the thread. With number, is it 70? I believe it's 70. Number 2, group 2, you have the riddle with 53. Group 3, you've got the ring with 57. And finally, group 4, you have the 1 with number 30. Alright, let's get started with the reading, starting with group number 1. Hi group 1, welcome to your reading. You have the thread card with number 70. Right away, I think you guys are people who find their security, at least in this moment, you find your security in meaning, in knowing what's going to happen to you in this life, in knowing where your life is leading to. And I think you guys are the kind of people who like to know how one thing connects to the next, how one moment connects to the next moment, and how you can get to where you want to go and achieve the goals that you have step by step. However, I feel like the most important thing for you in creating security and stability is that you're always seeking meaning and that you're able to do that. Being able to find answers to all of your questions, being able to have a clear mind without living a life in turmoil. I think you guys don't do very well with a chaotic schedule or a chaotic environment, not knowing what's going to happen to you every day. There's a lot of feeling of clarity within this card. Okay, let me start shuffling the tarot cards, and as I do that, please just take a moment and center yourself. Let's start to look inward and slowly become more and more aware of our thoughts and our feelings. The beginning portion of this reading is meant to be an energy check for me to get to know your energy and also for you to see if you've picked the right pile for yourself. Okay, I'm just going to take 3 cards. Group 1's energy, please. I think society or socialization might frustrate you from time to time. You guys might get the feeling of there's just so many people around me, like they're making me anxious, they're messing up my thoughts. I get the feeling from the 5 swords that you guys can't hear your own thoughts well when you're around people, when you're in a crowded environment, and you might have the tendency to seek solitude, to find alone time, to sort of escape your social obligations even. And because I think you guys have a lot of questions that you want to ask quietly within, and you need the time and the space to be able to sit down and it's just you in the room and ask those questions, even if you can't get answers right away. I do think you guys are in quite a social environment or situation, whether at work or in school. Yeah, I just get the feeling that this group hasn't been able to find a way to enjoy those social obligations yet. However, I don't necessarily think you guys are all introverts. It's more that you have something more pressing on your mind that you want to deal with, whether this is just big life questions that you want to think about, or things you want to achieve in your life that you have to work hard on your own. Maybe you have a big goal that you're trying to achieve, and you need time to put in the practice, put in the work. And having to be around people might feel like a distraction to you. Yeah. Now if that's really you, that's your energy, continue to listen on, and let's pull some cards for how you can create security, how you can achieve the feeling of stability. You got the five of wands. Strength. As well as the Page of Swords. You have two major arcana cards, one in your current energy and one in your advice for how you can find security or stability. I do feel that eventually you're meant to go out into the world, to be with people, to even lead people, to be able to thrive in a socially, perhaps socially competitive environment. I actually think that maybe the answers you seek or the information that you feel like you lack actually lie in other people. I don't mean to tell you like just go out and hang out with anybody, because that's not going to be productive for everyone. It's just that while it's important to have space to ourselves, to have space and time to ourselves to reflect and to seek answers quietly, it's also important to realize that other people, they might defy your expectations of them, because I think this group might tend to expect what other people are capable of bringing them. So what I mean is, maybe before you go into a social gathering, before you go and hang out with people, or maybe before you go into work every morning, you might have an expectation already of what that's going to bring you, what those people can tell you. And maybe that's true, maybe you're right. However, realize that people can surprise you sometimes, and sometimes your answers lie in those surprises. It's important to learn to become more patient with people, as well as to take a judgment-free mindset towards them. I feel like you guys might be prone to like winding yourselves into a loop. For example, you might find yourself constantly thinking over the same questions without finding the answers. Maybe you do feel like you have found answers, yet maybe at some point later on you realize those answers weren't enough and now you need more. You need more clarification. I see a lot of confusion regarding planning for something. Perhaps you're at a point in your life where it feels like the future is unclear, and that can make you feel uprooted, like insecure, unstable. Yeah, I want to pull maybe 2 more cards to give us a hint at the answers that you're looking for. You have the Knight of Cups. Interesting. as well as the Three of Swords. I feel like this seemed like two separate messages, so I don't know if everyone in this group is going to resonate with both, or perhaps just one of the messages. You could claim both if they resonate with you. So one message is that for some of you, the answers that you've been waiting for is a person, comes in the form of a person. Maybe you're waiting for an opportunity to meet someone, to connect with someone, to have a kind of person coming into your life. This also feels somewhat romantic, if that's what you've been waiting for or you've been seeking. Some of you might be in this stage of like up-leveling yourself and self-development, becoming a more mature and more secure person so that you can feel better in relationships. In that case, if that's you, then I really think the message from earlier is meant for you, because well, this is someone that you are waiting for. It's going to come from the outside. You can't necessarily find this person if you are always by yourself and you're trying to understand everything on your own. You have to be out there in society. Yeah, if this is you, if this message is for you, I feel like this person is going to come from the outside in. It's not going to be something that that you completely manifest by yourself. Of course, manifestation is important. Just know that you can manifest all that you want, but if you don't put yourself out there, then that manifestation is not going to have a realistic opportunity to come in. And for the other part of this group, Three of Swords, I think the answers that you are seeking are about a situation. You want to be able to see to the root of a situation, especially a certain group of people. You want to understand them, understand their motives, why they did what they did, why they said what they said. There might have been some heartbreak, emotional pain involved here. You want to understand why they caused you that emotional pain, and perhaps for some of you, even trying to see your own part in it. Your reactions to those people that perhaps weren't exactly productive, as well as how you can move forward from this pain and that situation. I want to get another card for you guys if this is your situation. We have the Sun. Okay, I think one thing that has hindered you or perhaps put you in that situation where you experience this kind of emotional pain is your lack of self-confidence, your lack of self-worth. I feel like some of you just don't feel worthy of being in a better situation, or you don't feel worthy of saying no to those people. It's as if you're trying to have them validate your worth. Perhaps some of you think that if you keep saying yes, if you keep allowing those people to do and say whatever they want, they will accept you, or they will value you, or perhaps you even have the feeling of wanting to serve others, and that's really beautiful. However, it's important to keep your boundaries, right? It's a very beautiful thing to want to serve others, to devote yourself to others, but you can't do that very well if you keep allowing others to hurt you, if you don't have enough self-worth to maintain a clear boundary around you. Yeah, perhaps this is also one reason that you've been wanting to isolate yourself from others. You've been wanting to just go back to your own safe place and deal with no one and nothing except yourself, your thoughts, your emotions. I do think you guys have learned so much from self-reflection. from self-reflection and from self-observation, you've understood a lot about yourself, and that has made you a much more secure and mature and just, yeah, emotionally profound person. Maybe you aren't giving yourself enough credit for your healing journey, and I feel like there was once a time when this kind of seclusion was needed. However, you've done a lot of healing, you've done a lot of self um, questioning and development, and it's time to recognize that and to perhaps start to come out of your shell and, yeah, go back into the spotlight a little bit. Well, actually, let me correct that. I don't think you guys have actually been like physically away from other people or physically away from the spotlight. It's just a change of perspective, from needing to stay away and feeling frustrated when you can't, to welcoming and embracing those social situations and opportunities. Yeah, again, because for you, security, stability comes in knowing, comes in the pursuit of meaning in your life. You've sought and you've understood a lot from looking inward already, and perhaps you can keep looking inward, but you're not going to gain as much looking inward as you would be able to gain if you go out into the world. You know, there's the saying that the way out is in, right? But for most of us, we can't keep going in all the time. Eventually, our minds might turn against us because minds have the tendency to do that. If you keep just focusing on yourself, then you might be exaggerating your flaws. You might be exaggerating the things that you need to change. I think this group needs to understand that if you can change something by changing your environment, by going out and, you know, embracing new opportunities from that comes from the outside, then do that before you attempt inner reflection and, you know, inner healing. Because when we do things from within, it's a lot harder. It requires a lot more attention and sensitivity and strength and courage. You have that, you've done that, and I think now it's kind of like the marginal returns. You're not getting as much, yeah, from your inner efforts. Perhaps it's time to go out into the world again. Perhaps you've done enough healing. It's like, you know, they say people go through spiritual awakenings when they feel the need to become more isolated from the world, but after that awakening or that healing is over, they have signs that they're meant to go out again, and perhaps this reading is your sign and your security lies out there. Yeah, I feel like, let me go back to what I said earlier about some of you needing to plan out something and you want to get more clarity on that. I feel like at this point in your planning, you've done enough research, you've done enough thinking, and you're just at that point where the only way to know is to let time tell you. You know, the only way to see how you can move forward with that thing on your mind is to do it and see how it moves forward, see how it can be done. You can't plan out everything in advance. That's not really possible. If you really did that, then you would be really bored. Let me promise you that. It's like going into a movie and knowing exactly what's going to happen for the next 2 hours. You probably won't want to watch that movie, right? I think for this group, the quest of meaning, of healing, kind of coincides with the quest for material abundance. I think what you do is heavily connected to who you are, your values, your identities. Maybe that's why you're so like intent and perhaps even anxious on finding answers, because you know that once you have the answers for who you want to be and how you want to grow, how you want to change, you will also have the answers for how you can achieve material success and material security out in the world. I just think that for both material and spiritual or emotional security, the way in is out, or the way out is out. Yeah? Okay, I think that's all of the messages that I have for you in this spread. It's a very clear reading, the actions that you have to take for this group, and I really hope this reading helped you find the strength and courage to go out into the world again and to embrace other people, embrace their influences on you, what they can teach you. Yeah. And as I like to say in closing, the light in me supports the light in you. I say this when I close my yoga classes, and I just like to say the same thing when I close my tarot readings, because I feel like the light, the strength, the value is always within. Don't feel like you're not worthy enough to set clear boundaries. Don't feel like you're not worthy enough to put yourself out in the world again. The light is within you. Yeah, I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hi group 2, welcome. You have the riddle card with number 53. I think you guys, your security lies in being around people who can accept and allow you not to take things seriously. I think you guys have a playful and just fun and innocent spirited, youthful energy, and you like being able to say you don't know the answers to everything. And I feel like perhaps you guys have been placed in situations or environments where it's important that you say the right things, that you give the right answers, and that sort of suffocated your energy a little bit. So right away, I feel like in this card, you guys would be happier when you're around people who can allow you to mess up and still accept you, still love you when you mess up, because they also kind of mess up sometimes, because they also don't take everything so seriously, and they are comfortable saying they don't know the answers to everything. And let's start with an energy check with tarot cards. Yeah, so this beginning portion of your reading is for me to get to know your energy, and also for you to see if you pick the right group for yourself. Oh, your cards came out really fast. You have the Queen of Cups. Let me take 2 more. You guys have such a fun energy. You can feel it. I can feel it already. And you got the Chariot. Let's take 1 more. You also like to defy other people's expectations of you. Like if they say you are one kind of person, you will sort of do something to prove that you're the other kind, you're the opposite kind of person. You might just do this subconsciously. It might not be like a huge identity you have about yourself, but I feel like, as an example, like if someone says that you always get good grades, then perhaps you will like intentionally make a silly mistake on your next quiz or something. Yeah, just like to mess with them. Or this group are explorers, curious souls. You kind of want to see what it's like to be on the other side of your personality spectrum. You guys might also be natural actors, because you enjoy exploring different mindsets, different personalities, different ways of being, ways of thinking. Yeah. You have the Tower coming up in your current energy spread, which makes me think that you might be about to undo something in your life that you once thought you wanted. This could be leaving where you're currently living, or it could be, some people when they get the tower card, they quit school. Yeah, something important and serious like that can happen, or they switch jobs. It doesn't have to be that significant of a change. It can just be that you've decided to tear down certain things that you once put up in your life. I really feel like for some of you, there is a great change coming up. And it's something that you willingly, voluntarily, and perhaps even joyfully do. Something that perhaps, if seen from the outside, seems a bit ridiculous, seems a bit irresponsible. However, for you, you very much look forward to this tower moment because it feels like you can finally leave that place that made you feel suffocated, that made you feel like you always have to watch what you say, that you can't mess up. I feel there's a great sense of freedom after this tower moment. I think your soul or your spirit or your higher self has always been a free soul, and they like to explore everything and they like to empathize with everyone. They're like the kind of higher selves or souls who would like be the devil's advocate, literally be the devil's advocate, or they would try to understand the motives, the backgrounds of all the villains in stories. You might also be friends with people who are not popular in your social group, people who are rejected by the majority of your social group, because you can understand and empathize with everyone. Yeah, and you like to explore the full spectrum of humanity and human emotions. In the Chariot, you guys are also very willful, very determined people. Once you make a decision, you will just go for it. You don't really hold yourselves back. And sometimes you might go on journeys, adventures, just very spontaneously. If you have a fun idea of something to do, you will just get on and do that thing, even if it seems like a very daunting task. So you guys might be the group to just switch jobs seemingly out of nowhere to just take a completely different path in life seemingly out of nowhere, because you have that drive, that fast moving energy in you. Such fun energy in this group. Okay, let's get to looking at advice for how you can create security and stability, as well as what that really looks like for this group. You have the Death card, which usually means transformation. However, it can go deeper than just transformation and change. Let's get two more. King of Cups, Nine of Cups, and Nine of Swords came out together. In the King of Cups, I think perhaps because you guys are such fun, free-spirited souls, there is a longing to be more, I guess, the word that came to my mind is emotionally stable. However, I don't mean to say that you're not emotionally stable right now. It's just, I feel like you guys might be looking for a sense of calmness, of greater emotional depth. Again, not that you're not emotionally deep enough. It's just, I think you guys are looking for something much deeper than your current experience of life. You still want to have that Riddler fun energy, that all-accepting, non-judgmental energy where you can allow yourselves to be pretty much anything you can think of and to make mistakes, but you also have a longing for a very intense and deep feeling. The only way I can think of to describe this is just a deeper experience of life, because it's not the kind of experience that can really be put into words. You know, I feel like you guys want to understand life, to perceive life, and to understand yourself and other humans on a level that's way beyond what we call empathy. It's like taking empathy to almost like stretching it to the extremes, where you can pretty much experience other people's perspective and their experience of life just by like looking at them, seeing them, standing in front of them. And yeah, it's not the kind of empathy that that we usually refer to when we say people are empathetic with each other. It's like you want to live everyone's life experience and you want to understand everyone's life experience. It's so hard to put this into words. I apologize if that didn't make sense. Yeah, because I feel like for this group, material security or abundance is not really an issue. If you are really in the middle of changing jobs and you're worried about material security, I wanna assure you, everything I see in this spread confirms that you guys have everything you need. You have all the genius you need to be successful in all the adventures that you want to take on. Because this group seems you guys might have many different jobs or many side jobs at the same time, and making money is not really an issue for you. Once you have an idea, it's quite easy for you to find the motivation you need, to find the determination you need to turn that into a very fruitful project and to create abundance for yourself. You might have multiple streams of income, is what I'm seeing in this spread. So money really isn't an issue. It's not an important, I guess, goal in your life. Not that money isn't important, but you know, you don't really have to worry about money for this group. Yeah, it just seems like the stability or security that you're looking for is emotional and mental. There is a great longing to be accepted in this group. Maybe it's just because you've been in situations, you've been with people who require you to say the right things. Maybe you are in a very intellectually demanding field or job, and it's important for you not to mess up, and it feels like you have to watch everything you say. You have to self-censor every word you use, and that's really kind of crippled your creativity a little bit. And it's also put a lot of self-doubt into you, of feeling that you aren't easily accepted since you have to watch everything that you do, everything you say. It's super, super important for this group to find people, to be with people who will allow you to make mistakes and mess up. And be okay with you not cleaning up the messes. Yeah, I'm specifically hearing that because some of you might have a more chaotic lifestyle, and it's not that you're messy. You have order within your mess, within your chaos, and a lot of people can't really get your order, and maybe your parents, you know, have always required you to clean up after yourself, and maybe they always said that you're a messy person or something like that. You need to be with people who are okay with messes, who are okay with the chaos, who also have the kind of riddler, playful, adventurous energy that you have. And the way to find emotional, mental security, I think it lies in this death card, because death means transformation, right? Especially it means transformation that's already underway. So this change in your life is already underway, whether you like it or not. I do think most of you like it. Most of you enjoy change. But I just want to tell you, if you aren't feeling ready for it, it's coming, whether you accept it or not. So perhaps it's time to change your perspective and to make something fun out of change, is what I'm hearing. Be playful if you're changing up your life in a major way. Be playful about future possibilities about what you do after this period of change. Just allowing every day to be flexible and spontaneous is really going to uplift your spirit for this group. And I'm also hearing that for this group, don't fear looking at people's dark sides. Don't fear looking at your shadow sides. Within death, there is the underworld. Underworld is like our subconscious, that the part of our subconscious that perhaps isn't so pleasant to us, that perhaps we don't want to see. However, it's important to go down there and see what's hanging there, and then come back up as a more accepting, as a more non-judgmental person. I think becoming more and more non-judgmental is a huge part of your personal journey, and it's super important for your security as well. I think you feel safe. Yes, you feel safe when you can connect on a very deep level, connect with life, connect with other people, even other lives on this planet, like animals or plants. I'm specifically seeing the image of someone going out, say on a hike. They go out into nature and they see trees, and they just look at the trees and feel so profound within. I'm seeing that image. That's the kind of depth that you want to experience. Wow, this group is so far along on their spiritual journey, I want to say. Yeah. Manifestation is also very helpful. Manifesting the kind of people that you want to be around. And if anyone is having anxiety or worries about the future, especially insomnia, I'm hesitating because I feel like I can't really say anything that will make that anxiety or worry go away. It doesn't work like that. Someone on the internet is probably not going to, completely eliminate your anxiety just by saying one particular sentence. But what I do want to tell you is, first of all, if it is related to money, not to worry. And perhaps it will help you if you can just still maintain a sense of playfulness, of flexibility, even in the midst of your anxiety. So what I mean by that is, if you catch yourself feeling anxious, if you catch yourself worrying, can you simply acknowledge that that's what you're feeling? And in that acknowledgement, perhaps that already gives you some distance from those negative feelings. And you will be able to recognize the other parts of yourself that are still alive and well and happy. If you can acknowledge your negative feelings, whether they're anxiety or fear, worry, depression, if you can acknowledge that, then you are already kind of separate from it, right? Because we can only see things that we're not. We can only see things that are in front of us. And if it's in front of us, then we're not that thing. So once you acknowledge your negative feelings, it's a lot easier to acknowledge the positive feelings that you do already have. Feel the part of you that's not your thoughts. It's interesting because this is something that came to me in my morning yoga practice today, and just the feeling that there is something, there is a part of me that's not in my mind, that doesn't require thinking, was a very profound feeling for me. And since this group is also looking for profoundness, looking for depth, I feel like you could try to explore that part of you, that presence of you that has nothing to do with thoughts. It's like the feeling that still exists, that's still alive and well within you, even without thinking anything in particular. Yeah, perhaps just learning to become more aware of your body is going to help this group a lot. And yeah, that's all the messages I have for you from this spread. I do hope this reading brought you some light and clarity. Yeah, as I like to say in closing, the light in me sees and supports the light in you. So please go after that light. Please don't worry, your future is very bright and fun. It has so much play and pleasure in it. I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye! Hi group 3s, welcome to your reading. You have the ring card with number 57. Right away, your security lies in things and people that you can trust. Things and people that are reliable, that will always be there, and they deliver on their promises. This can be this can be in the form of a person, like a life partner who you find trustworthy, or a career that's reliable and trustworthy, or your government, society at large. You guys like solid, stable structures. You guys like to know what your person or your environment is going to give you the next day and the day after that. Commitment was the first thing I thought of when I looked at this card. You guys really value commitment, especially personal commitment, like in relationships. You think of that as something sacred. I think a lot of you in this group want to find stability and security in the form of a marriage, lifetime connection. And if that's your case, I think for this group, marriage is something very sacred to you, and you don't like the idea of getting a divorce when things don't work out. I think for you, connections and trust are for life. However, I do get the feeling within this card that you guys have been let down in the past, whether by your partners, ex-partners, your family, like parents, or I think for some of you it's your government, or it's the external societal structure like government, politics, or your job, your career, your academic journey. Something about the way the world is made has let you down in the past. Yeah, let's get into your tarot for now. This portion of the reading is meant to be an energy check for me to get to know you, and also for you to see if you pick the right group for yourself. So as I shuffle the cards, please take a moment to center yourself, to start looking inward and connect with what you're thinking, what you're feeling in this very moment. Let me just pull 3 cards for your current energy. There are plans, visions, hope for a bright future, whether it's with a specific person or it's for your job, your business. For some of you, it's even for your country, like your society. You are coming up with great plans for it. You have the 2 of Wands, Strength, the Magician. I said I would only take 3 cards, but 1 more came out, 4 of Swords. So let's take 4 and take a look. You guys are very nurturing. I feel like even though a lot of you have been let down in the past by people, by situations, you have never given up hope on the good in people, the compassion in people. Yeah, the possibility that a new person won't let you down. and you're very willing to nurture that good, that kindness in others to help them deliver their promise, is what I'm hearing. If someone makes a promise to you and you doubt their ability to deliver on that, you can acknowledge that they might fall short of their promise, and you will communicate that to them directly and be there to help them. I think this is especially in romantic relationships. If your partner gets cold feet, I think you're the person to ground them, to help them, stay centered, to help them, not freak out. Yeah, and to nurture your relationship and help it move forward. In The Magician, you guys are very good at whatever you do for a living. Specifically, I see a lot of you like working on a big desk, and there are different things. Like you might, I think you're in the manager position, and your work it demands a lot of expertise and a lot of learning has to go into it. A lot of you are artists, because the visual I was seeing was a big work desk with a lot of art material, like design material and stuff like that on it. You guys are very visual people. I know this reading isn't about your strengths or talents, but I just see that you guys are very visual. That might be how you plan for the future you want to have with the people you care about, or for your community. You plan by envisioning the things that you want to create. You guys are also very calm and collected people. Even though you've had heartbreaks, you've been let down, even though you might still fear rejection, you might fear being let down again in the future, you guys are quite collected and self-sufficient people. You're very independent, and you understand that it's your responsibility and it's your empowerment, really, to be able to manage your feelings. I feel like in relationships, whether romantic or otherwise, you guys don't require a lot of attention or nurture for your feelings. Like, you might be the one to take care of other people's feelings. Yeah. You're also quite logical in that sense, because you don't easily let feelings influence your decisions or influence how you react to others. It's easy, or you've done the personal growth so that at this point in your life, it's easy for you to recognize the things that you're feeling and to separate them from the actions that you have to take. All right, so let's take a closer look at what security or stability means to you, as well as how you can create that. You have Ace of Pentacles, Nine of Wands. I want to get one more for what your security looks like, what's going to make you feel safe and stable and happy. Seven of Pentacles. For some of you, I feel like the need to rely on others, to rely on your community or your government to deliver their promises, what's behind that need is a fear of material lack. For example, wealth or abundance might be an important factor that you look for in relationships. Because I think sometimes we can conflate material security and emotional security, right? Especially from other people, because while money is the most obvious way that humans show emotional care and support for each other, it's how kids are raised. When they're young, they aren't capable of finding food for themselves, so human adults have to provide for them materially, and it's very easy for us to think of material security and emotional security as the same thing. I think for a lot of you, it's the other way around, where they look for emotional security in material security. So they might be overachievers and they might prioritize money, or they might, exaggerate how important money is in their life because they lack that feeling of emotional support. However, I think for your group, it's more like you're seeking material security in the form of emotional security. It's not that emotional security and support and the ability to trust others aren't important to you. I think it's important for you to recognize the fear of material lack. I think you might have had the experience of, working yourself until you're near burnout just to provide for yourself and maybe your family as well. In the Seven of Pentacles, this card usually represents stagnation, sowing the seeds and not seeing the fruits come out. I feel like you guys have that fear of not being able to rely on your own efforts, on your own projects. It's like you're wondering, what if this doesn't pan out? What if my project doesn't result in anything? What if the effort I put in doesn't result in anything? There is that fear. And sometimes for some of you, you might be looking outwards at other people, wanting them to be reliable, when it's really this fear of not having enough money, of your efforts not being meaningful, that's causing that insecurity. Let me pull a few cards to see how you can overcome that. Ooh. That card came out fast. Oh, you have a lot of cards that came out. Let's take the ones that actually flipped out. You have the Moon card. Ooh. And that's on the floor. King of Pentacles on the floor. Excuse me 1 second. There he is. The Moon, King of Pentacles, Four of Wands, and the Four of Cups. You have quite a few fours. And the Four of Swords from earlier, from your energy check. The number 4 numerologically has the meaning of security as well as expansion. It's actually why we're doing 4 groups today, since the question is about security and stability. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that we have 4 groups. And however, the number 4 also has the meaning of self-limitation, because we fear that we are not secure enough, that we lack the resources. You might limit your own options. You might say no to opportunities because you think they're too risky. In the King of Pentacles especially, some of you might take your possessions very seriously, and it's almost like you're afraid of losing them, or if you lose track of them, then you might need them at some point in the future and not be able to buy them back again. It's like there's sort of a fear of material lack that's always accompanying you. But I do want you to realize that it's not that you actually lack the ability to provide for yourself, okay? Especially because you have the Magician card. As I said earlier, you guys are already very skilled at what you do. And I do think you're mostly in environments that are supportive, especially in your work. yeah, I feel like this fear of not having enough money is something that's not um, based on your current reality anymore. It might have been based on your past reality, but at this point in your life, you've moved past that. You are way more capable than you give yourself credit for. So perhaps it's time for you to address that insecurity, okay? And yeah, you have to affirm constantly over and over that you are capable. You have all the means and resources to live an abundant lifestyle for yourself. Yeah, I think I want to take one more card. Oh, actually, never mind. He already came out, King of Swords. Becoming more objective with your life is really going to help you achieve security and stability. Especially since you can already achieve material abundance, it's more the feeling of security that you're lacking at this point in your life. And it's going to help a lot to take an objective account of what you have in your life. Also, gratitude journaling, writing down maybe 3 things that you're grateful for, that you already have in your life, that you can absolutely count on. I would encourage you to list your own skills as the number 1 in that list. That is something you can always count on, even if the people around you fail you, even if the entire society fails you, you are always the one that you can count on. And I feel like really understanding that is going to make you feel so secure within yourself, and you will be able to go for those opportunities that you were once scared of. Yeah. On that note, I think I just want to end this reading there. And as I like to say in closing, the light in me supports the light in you. You have so much light and talent and skill in you. So that is the number 1 thing you can rely on in this lifetime, okay? Oh, and I want to add, please don't think of this as if you have no one else to rely on. It's not like that at all. I think all of us sort of have that perhaps victim mentality in us. We are all prone to think that if we have to rely on ourselves, that means we're lonely. That means we have no one to love us. I think society, especially businesses, they've taught us to think that way, because if we feel secure within, it would be really hard to sell us stuff. Think of how much marketing there is out there based on shaming people for being lonely, for being alone, for having no one to rely on except themselves. However, if you take away the commercial motives and just look at independence, just look at self-sufficiency as empowerment, as self-empowerment, I think that's a much better way of looking at it. You can rely on yourself because you're capable, because you're strong, because you're valued by others. I hope you can find that sense of self-empowerment from that thought. Of course, it's important to be around people that you can trust, who deliver on their promises, but even more important than that is the ability to find empowerment and stability from our own skills and strengths. Yeah? And that's really all that I want to say from this reading. And I hope I will see you in my next reading. Bye! Hi, Group 4s, welcome to your reading. You picked the 1 with number 30. Your security lies in the happiness of the collective. You guys are very socially conscious as well as conscientious people. I think a lot of you, you are at your happiest when everyone around you is happy. It's like you don't see your happiness as more or less important than the happiness of everyone around you. Your definition of community might be even larger than the usual definition of that word. your definition of the collective might expand to include all life on earth. Like, some of you might be vegans as an example, and you care for animal well-being, you care for environmental well-being, as if it's your own well-being. Yeah, you guys, this group gives me the feeling of wanting to be supported, wanting to be valued, and also supported in return by their community. It's like you want to uplift everyone and everything around you and then be uplifted. There is that cyclical, receptive energy in this group. Which is why I said in the beginning that your security, your happiness lies in the well-being of everything, everyone that surrounds you. Okay, I'm going to shuffle some tarot cards to get a read on your current energy. This energy check portion is supposed to help me get to know you energetically and to help you see if you pick the right group for yourself. So as I shuffle the cards, please take a moment to center, to start looking inward, and become more and more aware of your thoughts and your feelings. All right, I will take 3 cards. 3 cards, please, for group 4's energy. You have the 9 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, the Magician. You guys are quite popular in your community, in your social group. I think people look up to you because you inspire them. You live a lifestyle that is very authentic, that is very conscientious, and you are very aligned with your value. You're the kind of person who has a lot of integrity, and that integrity is what inspires others. And you're not afraid to, point out what's going wrong in the world, what needs to change. And I think you've already done a lot to create the change you want to see out there in the world. In the 9 of Pentacles, it's almost like your creativity, your concern for the world around you just overflows and it pours out of you. And I think it's quite easy, as well as energizing for you to work this way, to create this way, create for the people around you. When you uplift others, you are also very much uplifted in that very moment. Some people, they require the rewards to come in first, like the compensation has to come in first before they feel supported by the people who benefit from their work. But I think, of course, you will feel supported that way, but you also feel supported in the moment of creating work that benefits others. Yeah, let's jump into looking at how you can create security and stability right away, and what that looks like for you. Ooh. A lot of you are quite family-minded. Like, a big goal of yours is to create abundance and happiness for your whole family. It's not just you and your parents and your spouse and your children. It's like your entire big family. That might be something related to your culture. For example, in East Asian culture, we're also quite big family-minded. Family isn't just parents and the children, it's like everyone related. Yeah. I think you're quite close with everyone in your extended family, and you're someone they're very proud of. And yeah, you also inspire them a lot. Perhaps you also take a kind of leadership role in your family, like you get to decide what you guys do for fun. And it's not like leadership in the corporate sense, but your family let you lead them because they really cherish you and they look up to you. In the Two of Wands, usually has to do with planning, with feeling powerful, feeling empowered by the decisions that you make, and feeling that passion and energetic drive to achieve it. I think you guys are very passionate people. Your passion is very closely connected to your values, and that's why you're so motivated to achieve your plans for others and for the world at large. You have a great vision for how we're supposed to live, how we're supposed to treat each other. In the Nine of Cups, there is a longing to live in harmony with other people, with the environment, especially the environment. I think quite a few of you are environmentalists and vegans maybe, or perhaps you have animals and they have taught you a lot about living in harmony with other species. Yeah, this feeling of harmony, of union is super important for your sense of security and happiness. Let's look at how you can do all these things. Nine of Swords. To be honest, I feel like your vision of the future is quite, well, I'm gonna be honest, quite a difficult one to achieve. Maybe because like the majority of the world isn't resonating on that level yet. They aren't conscious of that kind of harmonious living yet. So it might take a lot of planning and hard work to create the kind of abundance that you want to create in your life and the lives of everyone around you. I think because you feel responsible for many people, it's like you are taking on more work. However, I don't think you're going to feel drained by doing all that work. It's going to make you feel uplifted and inspired. Your source of inspiration really comes from others, from wanting to serve them, wanting to create abundance and wealth for them. I really think for this group, you guys are not emotionally insecure or materially insecure people yourselves. I think you already have, or you know how to achieve material abundance for yourself. You are able to be very self-sufficient and independent, and you also just manage yourselves quite well. You don't easily let your feelings get to you. I think it's because your mind is always thinking on behalf of others. You know, you've taken their problems as your own, and as a result, you guys are just very uplifted spirits. Like, yeah, you're highly evolved spirits because you are not really in your own way. So many of us are in our own way, with our feelings, our negative judgments about ourselves, our indecision, our mental confusion, and so on. But you guys, your concerns are really for others. It might feel like you might often find yourselves worrying, feeling anxious, but I think really if you look closely at your anxiety or worries or fears or whatever you have, you will see that they don't come from yourself. They're not your problems. They're your concerns for other people. I think this group really has to realize that your anxiety comes not from yourself but for others. Not from others but for others. I think once you see that, you will have a much greater sense of self-worth as well as compassion for yourself and for your anxiety. You will be able to see that it's very normal and natural for you to feel anxious or to worry about others because there are really a lot of things to be done and because you care for them so much. I think you have to acknowledge that you guys are very caring people. And sometimes that compassion can turn into anxiety for others. Yeah, but if you can really honor and cherish your compassion for others, I think you will be able to accept any negative feelings on behalf of others much more easily. Six of Wands. This is again a leadership card. People really, really look up to you in your community or collective or family. You're like that creative genius, the person who starts a completely new way of living. Yeah, and you kind of teach and uplift and support others by example, because you are really living in alignment with your values. You don't really have to go out of your way to teach others to live like that, you know, because you are already you have so much integrity. Yeah, I think I want to look at some practical advice for you, because in this group you guys don't really have a lot of emotional baggage or financial baggage or things like that. We have the Star and Eight of Pentacles. It's quite a straightforward message. I'm kind of worried that's gonna sound cheesy, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You are really meant to have hope, to strengthen your vision for what you want to create for your community, and practice, work hard at it. It really comes down to day-to-day work for this group. Again, it's because you guys aren't really limiting yourself. You really don't have like self-doubt or any limiting belief that's holding you down. So then what do you have to do? You just have to work hard at whatever you want to achieve, right? You are not in your own way. Congratulations. Yeah. That's really all the messages here, and I really want to say congrats, and you guys are such evolved souls. If you do feel worried, or if you feel sad, if you feel concerned, anxious, frustrated, know that those feelings, they don't come from you, and they're not a reflection of how you are living, who you are as a person. They are results of your compassion for others. Perhaps I would advise this group to turn your anxiety into simply recognizing what needs to be done for others. If you can take a more objective look at things, so perhaps instead of worrying for others, think about what you can do. Turn your anxieties into action steps, into action that you can actually take. Another advice from the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, that's really going to help you. I think I just want to end the reading here and say what I always say in closing. The light in me sees and supports the light in you, and I'm sure that the light in you sees and supports the light in others. So yeah, keep doing the great work that you do out there, and I hope I will see you in my next video. Bye!